I play a lot of different games, and I want you guys to realize that. I do a lot of MMO lists, but that's just because, like, I played a lot of them historically, but that doesn't mean that's all I do, and that's not all that you have to do either. A lot of people have this idea, this concept that when you pick an MMO or you play MMOs, you are an MMO gamer, or like if you do one's MMO top 10, you're an MMO YouTuber. No, guys, there's a lot of other games out there, and there's a lot of misconceptions of what is and isn't an MMO, but regardless, guys, I just want to make a list of games that if you are hard stuck in the genre of MMO, and you are just daydreaming, you got your fantasies of the best MMO, you can't wait until Ashes of Creation comes out, I don't care, dude. You need to be checking out these games. These are games that you probably missed just a little bit, but they're still booming and popping, and that you need to be checking out, you need to be playing, because there are definitely some feels, some social interactions, and some really weird online interactions that you can have with these games. Not technically massive, but still really good freaking experiences that will be reminiscent of the magic and the wonder that you had when you first entered the MMO genre. So, let's go ahead. This is a shitpost top 5. Let's have some fun. Okay, guys, so starting out my list is the game that when I finally actually put this in a top 10 list, because I was forced to at Free MMO Station, I realized that, hey, there's a little bit of awkwardness with the general definition of MMO. But anyways, I remember that in that top 10, and if you look at a lot of other MMOs top 10s, they'll be like, yeah, top 10 best free-to-play MMO, and they'll put Path of Exile, and they'll say, well, Path of Exile's not really an MMO, but you guys would love this game anyways. This game actually inspired this list, because so many people say that. So many people on so many forums will be saying, hey, what's a good MMO to get into? You know, I'm trying to get into the genre. A lot of people will just straight up say, well, Path of Exile is pretty good. It's not an MMO, but you'll probably like it. The truth is yeah, you probably will like it. I think it's a really good single-player experience. You can one and done it, good voice acting, extremely poetic writing, and it's Diablo 2-esque. It's kind of like the spiritual successor to that, apparently, but it really has become its own beast. Now, it actually does parallel to Diablo 3 very well with its own competitive leagues, and God, the customization is crazy in this game, but it is kind of more not massive. It's literally not massive. In fact, Path of Exile even explicitly has created an article saying, please do not call us an MMO. Stop doing that. Here's the reasons why. So Path of Exile, it's not an MMO. But will you like it, and will it give you some, online RPG vibes? Well, yeah, because it's an online freaking RPG, and it's amazingly online, amazingly free to play, and it's a freaking good RPG. So you should be checking this out. If you're an MMO player, I don't think any other game on the face of the planet has been suggested more to MMO players that's not an MMO than Path of Exile. But I'm putting it here, starting out the list. Alright guys, number 4, I'm going to slap down Ark Survival Evolved. Now, we're actually going to go kind of based on just my personal preference of what I think you guys are going to like on this list. It's not which ones are more massive, more social. I'm sorry, the list might not make sense, but basically I'm throwing Ark Survival Evolved here because I think it's a really cool social dynamic in this game, and I think a lot of you guys really like these survival server games. It's hard to call them MMOs. Some actually do. Minecraft does have MMO servers, Rust does have MMO servers, but there's a lot of these games that don't quite make it to that massivity point. Ark Survival Evolved is one of those games that has persistence, that has really good PvE, freaking dinosaurs, and then, they added dragons and stuff with some DLC and stuff, and things are happening in this game. It can get pretty cheesy pretty quickly, but there is this really interesting server experience that you can have with Ark that a lot of other games don't have. So you have your co-op games like Path of Exile, you have your full MMOs, you have some in-betweens MMO lights, and Ark Survival Evolved is definitely one of those, where it has this bleeding persistence, this perpetual gameplay with, building bases, having them destroyed, sieging, stuff like that. Freaking dinosaur sieging, yeah. So there's a lot of cool stuff here that I think MMO players would really love in an MMO, which we have not really gotten proper with the full bag. So if you can stomach the fact that it doesn't have quite like hundreds of players in one spot, it's still going to be big team battle. It's still going to feel massive with guilds and clans and stuff like that. It can still feel really good, really social. And I know there's some debate, some skepticism over some criticism the game has had, but all in all, it's still worth the price and it's still worth the experience. Try it out. All right, halfway on the list, kind of topsy-turvy this list is, but we're going to go back down to 4 players. That's going to be Monster Hunter. So Monster Hunter is going to be really fun for MMO players because I am generalizing here, but normally I would make this list based on player count, but instead I'm basing this off of the most popular MMOs right now, which happen to be raid-style, party-based MMOs, World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV, and then even Guild Wars 2 and Elder Scrolls Online to an extent have that as well. Now, Monster Hunter, if you've ever played dungeoning or, dungeon diving, maybe something like action RPGs, well, Monster Hunter is like the epitome of that in terms of combat, in terms of focusing on boss battles. That's literally what it is. It's a Monster Hunter, and I've actually done a top 10 list on this genre, which I really want to get some eyeballs on. Hella hype for that. But Monster Hunter is basically 4 people, or you can just go it alone, jump down, and you work together, and the game is meant to be co-opted. Work together, you have different builds, different weapons. There are different roles, all DPS, but there are actual different roles, and then you try to smack down a monster before it smacks down you. It's a lot of fun. Monster Hunter World is new. It's coming to PC. I played it on PS4 and getting it on PC as well, and it's really cool how you run around and chase the monster, and the monster will chase you, and man, there's so much cool cool stuff that I wish more MMOs did with their dungeons. More open dungeons, more dynamic dungeons and monster fights, and more roles with DPS. So if you like DPSing in normal games, holy crap, dude, Monster Hunter has some of the coolest, most mind-bending stuff that you can do, from rodeoing to smashing, slashing, even the range stuff can probably compete with Horizon Zero Dawn for a Monster Hunter. Yeah, I'm just saying, pretty much. If you like jumping down and boss fighting with a raid with a party or whatever, you got your group, 4 players, oh man, buddy system, this is the game for you. Okay, so my number 2 game is going to be kind of more weird, but hear me out, and that's going to be Dark Souls. So a good group of people who play MMOs play for that weird and unique online experience. Now, that's not just attributed to MMOs now. We have MMO Lights and some other weird oddity games, like some IO games that have some weird persistence, or I don't know, man. There's a lot of mobile games that do some asynchronous stuff as well. So Dark Souls, though, is a game that you can be invaded in, and you can invade. There is like this sort of clan system with, I guess, the different factions, the different covenants, as they are called in the game. I'm trying to relate it to MMO terms, but you can actually join a community, and you can just, go Sunbros and co-op it up, or you can just straight up, Red Eyes and Phantom invade all for days. There's a lot of really weird stuff that you can do with Dark Souls, and so it's supposed to feel very isolating and alone and dark and cold, but actually the systems in place, which are supposed to be harsh and brutal, allow the game to have this warmth and comfort of community, which more than any other action RPG just feels so communal. Oh my gosh, when it's so weird because the world itself seems to be like having teeth against that. I really appreciate what Dark Souls done with online play, so if you like weird online games, which MMOs tend to be, that unique, uniquely massively multiplayer online, I'm thinking you want a unique online experience. Dark Souls is that. It's got, combat that's inspired by Monster Hunter and a few other action RPGs. It's really good combat, really good PvP, and overall, if you like fighting bosses, and yes, the co-op in Dark Souls is legitimate, if you like having that experience, though smaller team, generally just gonna co-op or 1v1, oh my gosh, man, Dark Souls is totally that title, especially for those MMO PvP players. Yeah, we ran through the list pretty quickly, but now we're at our number 1, and that's going to be Warframe. Because a lot of people who want to play MMOs, like I said at the beginning of the video, a lot of you guys think you need to play like that just one game. You need to live that game, or any game that you can live in is an MMO, which is not really the case. Warframe is an online game, and it's one of the most popular games out there. But it's still a game that only has little hub cities, which you don't really interact with other players other than trading, and then you jump into the, the instance dungeons. It's 4 players. That's it. And there is PvP. I think it goes up to 8 players, but nobody plays that. Basically, Warframe is that game that you just consistently, you log in daily. You log in daily, there is a community, there is deep lore. It is an action RPG. Technically, the new genre is looter shooter, and I guess you could also put Destiny in the spot if Destiny was as good as Warframe. Oh, shots fired. Okay, Warframe is a pretty fantastic game that everyone's talking about. I'm obligated to put it at number 1 because I'm certain that you guys would say, hey, all those other games are really cool, totally suggest it, but freaking Warframe needs to be number 1. Yes, it does. Because a lot of people who are playing MMOs have now transitioned into Warframe because it gives them that dopamine, dope, that hype needle that they need injected into their brains whenever they want the grind, they want the clans. Oh my god, the dojo customization, insanity. Now, if Warframe keeps adding on all this new stuff that they promised, I've already done a couple hype videos on it, then I think we're all gonna love this game. It's a game that you can stay engrossed in, that has episodes literally added on to it. It is a game that you can keep coming back to, and it's online, it's a dungeon diver, and while it's not a boss rusher like Monster Hunter, it's not a PvP game like Dark Souls, and it's missing a lot of the social, online, and customization features of maybe Ark Survival Evolved or Path of Exile. It does have something very unique to it, which is super hard to describe, which is why I'm actually writing an essay on what makes Warframe different, because it is so much stuff that I don't have time in this video to tell you. But basically, Warframe is like, I hate saying this, but it's the Dark Souls of online action RPG, even though Dark Souls is an online action RPG. When it comes to looter shooters and grinders, it is just this really weird niche game that shouldn't be popular, but it is because it's weird. So if you want a game that is super unique and has that, that grind, that dungeon diving, repetition, daily login feel that you get from MMOs, that game is freaking Warframe. Alright guys, that's it for my top 5 not MMOs, that are for MMOs. So if you're an MMO player, then these are the non-MMOs that I think you could transition well into, because it has some habits or it has some mechanics that are generally prevalent within MMOs, and I think you'll just, you'll have fun with it, okay? That's all I'm saying, guys. I play a lot of different games, hopefully you guys appreciate that, and if you guys want to see more weird and unique top 10 lists, hey, peel some eyeballs on the Patreon. Thanks for the donations, the likes, subscribes, and shares, all the good stuff, and thanks for just being part of the community. It's called Skyline Games, but like, you guys are really the show here. You guys are the friends and family.